Okay, as promised, short tutorial for getting started on the bakery box design and Onshape. I did do this last night, and then my cat walked across the keyboard and everything was gone. So that was so nice. That was so useful. So I am going to go inside of the existing project that I already have to walk you through again what it is that we're making here. There was an example on the whiteboard in the classroom of a box that was a 4-inch cubic box with a stabilizing insert inside, and then a drawing page for all of those features, which is taking its time to load. So I'm going to walk through how to create this again in the event that you missed it or you just need additional guidance. So you would be starting from a brand new document that would ask you for a title, which I want titled Bakery Box, your first initial and last name. And then you'll be inside of a part studio, excuse me. So we're going to start a new sketch from the top plane because I like building from the bottom up. If you want to do something different, that is your call. And I'll be starting with a new sketch, a center point rectangle. And once I click, my dimension fields are active, so I can set my dimensions to 4 inches by 4 inches. Now, given that this is a cubic box, we are going to also extrude this shape to a depth of 4 inches. And so now we've accounted for the entire shape of the box. I'm going to hide all of the work planes. I don't like how busy those end up looking, so I just want the shape in front of me. Now, because the box is hollowed out, we need to use the shell feature, and we'll select the top of the box, which will naturally want to hollow out the box. We do need to set the dimension for how thick the edges are. The shell thickness is talking about how thick the walls of the box will be. And standard cardboard is about 1 millimeter thick. We can override the dimension that's set there. And there we have a box that is shelled out that is 1 millimeter thick around the edges. The next thing is to create the lid portion, like what we are seeing here, to create the lid and the lip portion. So I'm going to go back over to my part studio here, and I'm going to start a new sketch. I'm going to rotate this and make sure that I'm able to select the face of that extrusion. And I'm also going to turn it to be looking at it head on, and I'll swap this to be a corner rectangle, go from corner to corner. And then I'm going to extrude that part that I just sketched there. I want it to come up 4 inches as well because it's going to be the same height as the edges of our box, or the edge faces of our box, excuse me. And now the last part of this procedure is to put the flap that is going to come off the top edge here to tuck down inside the box. So I'm going to be facing the front face, a new sketch on that extrusion, a new rectangle to go from corner to corner. And we have an active dimension highlighted here. This needs to be 1 millimeter in thickness, just like the edges of the box in the shell thickness were. So now that we've got that drawn, it's the proper width. Now we need to extrude that rectangle, which is going to be the flap. And I'm only going to have that come out 1 inch because this is what, in theory, would take the top of the box down and tuck inside the top. So now the actual design of the box is done. The next piece would be creating an insert. So I am going to rename this Part Studio tab box for recording, because that's why I made it. And now I'm going to go create a new Part Studio here to do the insert for recording. Starting a new sketch on the top plane. I'm going to use that center point rectangle again. Turn this to face me. This is going to be 4 inches by 4 inches again. And that is going to take account for the base of the box. Now, in theory, it should probably be a little bit smaller so it could fit in there with tolerance, but I'm going to overlook that piece for the sake of getting this done in one recording. And we will extrude this to 1/2 inch. I do think that's what I had on my previous inserts. I'm going to take a peek real quick just to make sure. That was our extrusion. Yes, 1/2 inch. So now we have that set up. I'm going to hide my planes. I'm going to hide that center point. And so now from the top, I need to make 3 circles. These are those stabilizing inserts for where the muffin, the cupcake, and the tart would go. Although I am noticing I want to keep that there for this one. My center point, because I need that to help me put my circles right in the center. So the first one has a diameter of 3.5. The second one has a diameter of 2.5. And the third one has a diameter of 1 inch. So since the center circle is the one that's going to need to go the deepest for the mini tart, I am going to work with extruding that center circle, but right now it's at an add. I need it as a remove. I don't want it to go all the way through. I just want it to go almost all the way through. So I'm going to use 0.48. Once I check mark this, my other circles go away. They're not really gone. I just need to unhide that sketch so that I can do another extrusion here. Again, as a remove, I did the last one is 0.48. I'm going to do this one a little bit shallower, 0.45. And then this last one, same thing, a little bit shallower, 0.42. A little bit more shallower. I don't know. I don't teach English. And then I'll rehide those sketch lines. So now we can see that there's a fully recessed, a little bit more, and then a little bit more. So now this insert would fit inside the box. So I'll rename this insert for recording. And then the last step is to take these and put them into a drawing page to make this happen. So we do that by going to create a new drawing. I'm going to use just whatever populates for me. I'm not going to remove any of the title blocks this time. Don't really need to. Box for recording. Pick my part. I'm going to start with an isometric view. And I'm going to place that in the upper right-hand corner. Isometric always goes in the upper right-hand corner. Then I also need to insert an isometric view of the insert. I'm going to place that right up here near the box. And then I need to include the views that are going to provide me with the most amount of detail. So with the box, the front of the box is going to give me the overall height dimensions. And I also need maybe a side view so that it can show me the flap. And then I probably need either a top or a bottom view. We'll go with the top. Okay. And now, hold on. I don't know why the top view looks like that. It's, oh, because it's only showing the edge of the lip too. So I'm actually going to use the bottom view instead because I just want to see the full square dimensions. Okay, now I need to include the insert. So change to insert for the recording. We need a top view so we can see all of the circles. And then we also need a right or left side view Oops, that's the wrong piece, though. I need to get the insert. Insert for recording and do a left or right side view so we can see the full scale depth of that. We also need to be able to see, we need to see the hidden lines here because this is where we're going to see the depth. So I right clicked and said show hidden lines. So the last step here is to place dimensions on, which we use with the dimension tool for here. And remember, no dimensions along the perimeter, only between views and in this towards the center of the page. So we need to know how tall this is overall. And it placed the wrong view for me. That's not what I meant to do. I don't need that dimension. I wanted to get from the top of the shape to the base of the shape. So I'm clicking 2 lines to show that the overall height of this is 8 inches. And then we'll show a singular side here and nest that right in. Over here, we do need to know the thickness of the cardboard. Oh, try again. Gonna have to zoom in to get the top and the bottom. So we know our overall thickness there. And then from edge to edge. Oh, this is getting a little bit muddy for me. Okay. We know our overall width of that piece. So now we've got our thickness accounted for. We've got the length of the flap, the lid. So now dimensioning the base of, sorry, someone's lurking at the door. The base of that shape. So now the box itself is fully dimensioned. All that's left to do is the insert itself. So we'll know how wide it is, how tall it is. And now we need to account for the diameters of each of these circles. And I'm going to take them out diagonally through the corner of the box. Insert. So the largest circle, the intermediate circle, and the smallest circle. Normally you want to try not to cross dimension lines, but in this case, it's okay. And then we know that the overall thickness of that is 0.5 inches. The depth here is 0.42. The depth to the second, oops. Oh, I got it, 0.45. It's kind of hard to see. These are all going to be a little bit close together. And then the depth of the deepest one is going to be 0.48. And I mean, they're only 0.3 difference on all of them. So it really is going to be all kind of close. But this is all you need. These are all the dimensions that you would need to put on there. One of the other things that I did have is that you could, when you double click this, if you click view label, it'll say what the view is. So you can add those. That's the front view. That's the left view. That's the bottom view. And you can also modify that. So if this is the top of box insert, you could be a little bit more specific with it. And that is a completely scaled and annotated drawing page to go along with the bakery box. So that's how you do that. Hopefully all this got recorded and there's no cat here to sabotage it. And the end. Okay,